I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, everybody. So this is a generational reading, so I wore my Skate Buddy outfit so I could properly rep Generation X. And because we're in the midst of this water exhibit, and it's kind of part of the show, I'm going to start with a water poem. It's an erasure poem. And it's an erasure of an article that appeared in the July 1950 issue of Louisiana Conservationist. It's called Oyster Cult. Oyster mortalities occurring in coastal water, life given whole, oyster transplanted, seed oysters harvest oysters on the new bed, summers after planting, small oysters at the end, barrels of oysters, barrels of seed oysters harvest these oysters, heavy load, seed oysters affected, plants oysters on these reefs, not readily seen, searching the reefs for the largest oysters, bright spot for the seed oysters, these transplanted oysters grow and fatten rapidly. The same oysters left alone yield one entire summer. A new machine for removing oysters can work for the betterment of oyster beds, for the culture of young oysters, for the reclamation of shells, and do the same for tonguing oysters, clusters of spat on the bottom of the lake, bayou, lagoon, or bay. Endless chain lagoon brings up oysters in all sorts of weather, June, December, oysters during November, new oyster slips and channels the oysters, which will continue in this area filled with oysters. The department will notify the public when these oysters will survive their removal. Oysters experienced years of natural oyster enemies, flood conditions of rivers. The oysters sharply sustain oysters that follow patterns of the tributary drainage, serve as a source of oyster communities on the lower saltwater marshes, sub-delta marsh, old mouth of the Mississippi River, prolific oyster population, the oyster stunted, clustered, white shell organisms of poor quality, 17 to 20 miles from their mouth in moderate saline water. The individual self-sustaining oyster communities beyond the Pearl River were reduced. The spillway completely exploited, barren old shells, the old delta, Bayou La Loutre, Bayou Terre à Bouffe, backbone of the oyster freshwater, artery for drainage, rainfall, freshwater oysters attest to freshwater, open waters, sounds mixing, salt water, memory of hurricane oyster enemies, abundant oysters of poor quality, kill oyster communities, more oysters, rapid growth of spat, too much, prolific oyster strike, clustering enemies, oyster communities follow, tributaries, wild oysters brood future rivers. Thank you. So these are new poems. That's the only water poem I have, so if you're hoping for more water poems, that's it. The rest are all fire. I'm not kidding. Don't believe what the fire tells you. We see holes burned in the sky where a clear star hung only yesterday. We use salamander as a verb. We watch smoke hover over grass mingled with dirty light from outer space. We think we hear Mercury's feathered feet, the papery sound of wings. We think he fled into a rainless cloud. We see bursts of chimney swifts spiral toward the sun, then evaporate. We see towers and chimneys collapse in the flames. We watch ash motes snow through red light. Clouds of birds turn to crude letters, a caption for a photograph of a woman doubled over, her hands over her eyes. From her mouth, a cry like Jupiter's red bruise. We ask each other, how did Joan of Arc's heart survive? Was it asbestos? Was it carved from something hard and red like jasper? What kind of heart does God carve for his pet? Fire slandered her heart. We guess her heart salamandered through the fire. Maybe we say God gave Joan an igneous heart, an ignoble heart, a magmatic heart. Maybe God gave Joan a magnetic heart. We dig through the crust of the earth looking for her sizzling heart. Then we remember her heart got thrown in the river. We remember she signed her name with an X. She became a constellation. She signs her name in light, XE for xenon. We watch the sky now. We know when she gets homesick, she comes back to earth as a falling star, dazzling with its bridal train of flames. Thanks. So this is a generational poem. It's a sestina. It's the longest one I'll read. It's called A Blood Story. In the township of Worth in the country of Woodforth, Illinois, the coroner touched the bloody hair of Roswell Goings, suddenly deceased. A man hit by his wife, swinging firewood, foot braced on a stair. She left his skull much fractured. Snow melted to water off her cloak and hair, water marbled with blood. He put his hand on her and told her to hush. She dared him. Blood could only happen next. Hands on her throat, a stick of wood left a long, deep cut. She never fetched a cloth to dip in water. She never cleaned the wound. She let the blood sticky up his hair. Son Josephus did not see the lick struck, sat the old man on a stair and washed off the blood. Pa never spoke again after he was hit, he said. She used a stick of stove wood about as long as his arm to hit him, the coroner said. The wound fatal. The coroner said blood in this case ran thinner than water. The courthouse back stair and Abraham Lincoln saved the old lady from hanging. Would the judge allow counsel with my client? She fled, quick as a hare. Counsel said, go to Tennessee where there's mighty fine water. Monica Goings, mother of fathers and mother of fathers, water flows, jeans unzip, ACGT, and so on. Everyone crazy as batshit, people drinking whiskey, drinking Jesus-like whiskey with wavy hair and sometimes a brown spot floating in one blue eye, a drop of blood. You want things to be given, not a given, but when fire touches wood, it all goes up. My grandmother grabbed and thrown down the stairs when my grandfather couldn't figure out how to try harder. A stare settled into his eyes. The kids had a place they called the secret water, only to be visited when the hitting started. Skinny elms, not woods, edging the pond in the park. Damp and muggy, but he could not hit you there. He couldn't find you, so you couldn't leave a bruise or a blood blister or a burn. He could not shake you by the skull or grab your hair. My sister, we tried. You wear green contacts. We bleach our wavy hair. Remember my concussion, the cut on my chin, the wince, the stair I climbed up on? I fell through the gray air, couldn't figure out whose blood. Your ex took your keys, screamed, slammed doors, drank anything but water, always roaring, taking something back, but never hit you. Kitchen wisdom is stupid. Lightning strikes twice. We knew it would. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to get all verklempt. The sixth daughter of the sixth daughter. We put a paper boat in the water. We light it on fire, a tiny Viking funeral. We wish and wish for fire to wash it away, banish all the above. Hot ashes drifting over water, over driftwood. My apologies for... I've never read that in public. I may not. Thanks for your patience. This one's a silly one. So I end with a goofy ass poem. It's got a satyr in it. The gardener sends an email to the satyr down the block. There is news. Last night the gardener overheard a rare thing, gossiping roses. I now model my mouth on the rose and its spectacular rudeness, the gardener writes. Soon I will be bright red, all mouth, truly angry like 10,000 thorn punctures. The gardener, drunk, continues to type. But do you believe, Mr. Green, this cliche that rage is red? I grow a mint-colored rose called Super Green, and it's pissed off. You know who's even madder? Blue Moon and Blue Girl, just two in an army of blue roses forced into blueness, forced to wear that label blue. They are not blue, but like a kid hiding the answer to a riddle, they would say, purple, getting warmer, mauve, getting warmer. The gardener hits send, feeling an ache for the old days of licking envelopes and stamps. That's just how it goes, the gardener thinks. How could it be any different when even the old roses are stained? When you think you see a flower and some hybridist says, not a flower, keep looking. It's a bonfire full of witches or maybe the robe of l'Eminence Rouge. Thank you so much.